Hello, everyone. Welcome to SureFire Live. I am coming to you on a pre-4th of July weekend. That's why I got my USA hat on today. Alan Rush will be joining me shortly. He is having a hard time getting logged on. He's at a hotel. You know, Alan travels, and he is joining us from the road. So we'll wait for him. How you guys doing out there? Looks like we're starting to build the audience. I have looks like Alan said he'll be about 5 minutes late. Let me check my other feed here so I have everything going. So, all right, I'm good. So how are we doing tonight? Two-way conversation. Make sure you say hi in the comments and talk to me. It makes for a better show when people have content to add. Tonight, I wanted to talk about kind of some new things that you may have not heard about that are new to or bringing out to the industry. Hey, Kyle, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Haven't seen you for a while. I haven't heard from you for a while. I see you on Facebook. See you posting some stuff. Thanks for joining us on the show. And what's new for you guys? I want to show you some things that we've been thinking about and working on, and finally have them kind of coming together and have some interest in what we're doing. For the most part, all we're doing is trying to come up with ideas to, keep the ball rolling, keep people engaged, find out what's new, find out what's working. And I've noticed in business that a lot of times, it's not on your time. What you think is going to happen in your business, you can try to force things to happen and nothing happens. Or you can kind of sit back and all of a sudden things start coming to you. And I've kind of learned over the years that it's not really on my time. I can come up with ideas, I put things in place, and sometimes they take off right away. Sometimes they don't take off. Sometimes they take off when you weren't ready, or you thought something was dead, or you weren't really promoting it. Like I do a thing called Blue Collar University in my, and I've done it for years. We bring people into my business. I work with you for 2 days. I got several people lined up to do it, but I actually haven't promoted it in a long time because I'm so busy. I don't really have time to do it, although I love to do it. But even since I'm not promoting it, I seem to be getting more and more inquiries on people that want to come for the 2-day event at my shop. It's a one-on-one thing where I show you how we do everything for one day, and on the second day we put that all together with your plan, what you want to do, and by the end of the 2-day process, you have a 3 to 5 year game plan of what you should do or what you can aspire to do. And I've done that for years. I've probably done it for 100 companies, but I got to stop doing it because I've got other things I'm in the middle of. Well. And hey, Jack is coming to see me. Jack is going to be coming to see me, I think in September, right, Jack? Just met him, and he's going to come see us. But with that, just things can start to roll. And so what I'm going to talk about tonight, Alan has joined us from the hotel. Let me bring him on. Hey, buddy.
Hey, man. Sorry about that.
Welcome.
Gotta love hotel life.
Where are you these days?
I am somewhere in between Cleveland, Ohio, and Toledo, Ohio. So,
okay,
a place called Greenwich.
Okay, road warrior in it, huh?
Yeah, they have a McDonald's and a red light. It's exciting.
Well, tonight, as you know, our topic is going to be what's new out there, and we have a new product at SureFire we're going to show people. But before we get into that, Alan, and I know I'm putting you on the spot. You didn't know I was going to ask you this, but are you seeing anything new or interesting from companies, without divulging, private information or anything like that, it's companies you work for? What are you seeing out there that could help people that is new or on the horizon? And I've got a couple things that I'm seeing as well.
Yeah. So there's software, right? I mean, that's a big thing. I think we're seeing a battle for software. I have, without disclosing stuff, I know 3 or 4 people that are working on their own softwares. I know I saw just today that House Call Pro has partnered with a coaching company. I saw that Service Titan has partnered with a scheduling engine company to one of the biggest issues out there is scheduling and live scheduling and all the things there. So I think we're seeing a huge shift in softwares, and I think whoever wins that game is going to for chimneys is going to do well. We're seeing a lot of people trying to do add-on services right now. It's a I think people kind of 2 weeks ago we were talking about all the things that you need to be doing to in a down market, right? How do you find the up market in the down market? And I think people are starting to do more dryer vents that they really didn't give much credence to before. All of a sudden, that looks kind of exciting to add $200 to every single job that their people are doing.
Right.
We see people. I mean, other services as well. I won't get into details, but other services as well that are related services. Cold weather markets are looking into roofing, ice removal, snow removal, things like that. That are you already have the safety gear, you already have the people that can get on roofs, you already have the expertise. So we're seeing a lot of that. And overall, I think it's just people are unsure right now. That's kind of what I'm seeing. The phones are slowing down, and people are getting a little bit nervous, and they're just saying, "Hey, we've had 10 years of good times. What are we doing?"
I don't know if I'm weird about this, but I'm like more excited right now than I have been in a long time. I don't know why it is, but I think it is because something shifted a little bit. It's forcing me back into the business to think about things differently. Like I'm like in deep on things that I've just kind of put on cruise control. While things were really good, we were rolling on things, and I just ran with the team that how we got here. You're just running with it. But
Yep.
now things that have kind of shifted a little bit. All of a sudden, the sales don't come as easy. All of a sudden, all the things aren't as easy as they were. I'm like more amped up because I'm like back in. I'm like, okay, let's
Yeah.
look at this thing. Let's tear it apart. Oh, why are we doing it this way? Let's refocus in on this. I've had meeting after meeting in the last week, and then new stuff. And Chad Murray, if he signs on, I'm fully engaged in Connect Team and getting everything involved in it. And I'm like amped up right now. Like,
Yeah.
and I think too that is kind of contagious for my company. They see me working in and being involved and being there and working on things that I think it gives them some like comfort, and they see us talking about things and changes and what we're going to be coming out and doing. And I think for me, it's exciting to have a shift in the wind. The wind has shifted. Now, don't get me wrong. I loved the 10 years of solid wind, to our back or to our side, or, helping us get there. But,
Yeah.
right now it's shifting. So I'm shifting, and I'm like,
For sure.
I think the way we get through this is by more sales and cutting out waste. Like,
Yeah.
and then also working with each other to help brain trust masterminds, and we're going to talk about that tonight. Jack says these tough times make those of us who are good dig in, shift, and make it work. Perfectly said. I completely agree with that. And I've been through tough times. I know what they smell like. I know what they taste like. I know the grit in my teeth, and I know the blood that was shed in the hard parts, but I'm not afraid of it. I say that today. I mean, I might come to you, next year, go, holy cow, I'm crying. But today I don't like it. Don't get me wrong. I don't like this. But inside of this problem is opportunity in different ways. And
Yep.
I was talking to a lady today where she's like, how did you roll from this to this to this to this, through my different businesses? And I'm like, inside every one of those businesses was an opportunity that cropped up into another business. It was,
That's right.
they say it a lot, the problem is the opportunity. And inside that was a problem with, say, metal fabrication or getting or delivery. So we make our own things. And, we got HVAC because we were slower in the summer. And we've got, everything inside there came from something else as an opportunity that was, it's there, it's inside your business. And that's
Yep.
what is exciting to me is look deeper into what you're already doing. You said it. Okay, you've got value added services that you do. Maybe you can refocus on them. Kyle says, been doing this since I was a little kid, seen the good and bad, and the companies come and go. Yeah, that's totally true. And Tommy Nelms, hey, Tommy, sorry I missed your call a minute ago. It's all about perspective. Challenge yours and find opportunities. I love that. Tommy does one of the best talks I've ever heard on challenging your perspective.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's amazing. I've heard it a few times, and I love it every time he does that challenge your perspective. So what do you think about opportunity and perspective?
Well, it's funny with all my my sales clients, so my sales training clients that I work with, depending on the agreement, almost all of them have direct access to me through a software called Boxer, right? So they can, hey, Alan, I'm in this situation. I just had this customer, I had this objection, I had blah blah blah. What would you do? Or hey, how do you think I could have handled that differently? And honestly, I have maybe 10, 15 guys that really, really take advantage of that on a daily or a weekly basis. And I've trained hundreds of people. But what I've noticed is the last month, my Boxer has been a little hotter. It's all of a sudden, hey man, I may not be as good as I thought I was, or hey man, people are not buying like they used to be, or hey man, I'm getting objections that I never got before,
Yeah.
and so we go back to basics, right? We go back to process. All those people who, well, we call talk pretty, right? You can talk. You're a natural salesperson. You can talk through anything. You can build rapport with people. Well, at the end of the day, you still have to have process. You still have to have the ability to communicate, to find need, to have value propositions to go through it. And when times are as good as they've been, it's so easy to create those shortcuts. It
Yeah.
is so, man, when everything's coming in, it's gravy, man. I can just kind of move here,
I
move
can
here. I
sell
can just
everything. I'm
sell
a great
everything. It's
salesman. I'm
easy.
an amazing businessman. I'm so smart.
Yes.
I mean, I'm so good.
Yes, it's so easy. And then all of a sudden, you realize you actually got to work at it. And so my phone has been very busy lately,
Yeah.
and we're having to go back to basics. It's and so that's definitely the shift that I'm seeing. And of course it's summer. I mean, I was in Tulsa last week. It's 108 degrees. I mean, this is not what we call prime chimney time. Take that compared to combined with the uncertainty of what's going on in the world, people are freaking out. And so I'm with you, man. I'm as excited as I've ever been, man. I'm more pumped up to go back to things that how good are we and how good is our process than we've ever been. Anybody could sell in the last 5 years. Now let's see if we can really sell.
Yeah. Tim Reed, the second best sales coach in the industry.
Best hearth sales coach in the industry for sure.
I love Tim, and we're
He's
all
awesome.
good friends, and you are too. But he said he said, when the tide goes out, you see who is skinny dipping. Who was really. I thought that was a funny comment because to what Kyle said, you're gonna learn who's really a good business person, who isn't. Now,
right.
I would argue too, though, that service businesses are almost like cockroaches. You can't hardly run us out of business. You might, unless you're over leveraged. If you're over leveraged and you've borrowed a ton of money and they come and take it, you can be out of business. And we saw that happen in 2008, where if you were over leveraged, you were out of business unless you could come up with a bunch of cash quick.
Yep.
But that being said, most people just have to scale back, take the beatings, and we're still here, to get through it. But so let me just, what else is going on out there? What else, when you're selling things, is there a shift in what? I'll tell you one shift. Today we had a Cozy Heat, who's a dealer of fireplaces, electric fireplaces. We had them come in and do a half day training. Not all the half day was on this, but it was on electric fireplaces. You don't think there's much to it, and there's not nearly as much as there is wood burning, but there was a tornado 2 years ago in Nashville, and you know the story, but it wiped out this apartment complex, or this condo complex down on the river in Nashville. And we were called in to put in basically 86 fireplaces to go back in. And at the time, because every single condo was owned by somebody else. It wasn't one mass decision. So everybody had to make their own decision. So you can imagine the problems with that. And Tommy Nelms knows all about this job because he was bidding on it at the same time. Tommy, trust me, you're better off that we got it. we're still waiting to get paid on all of it. But anyway, biggest job we'd ever had. But the surprising part about this job was they had an offer of a go back wood burning or go electric, right? So basically the same money to them. Insurance was paying for it. Which would you rather have? 60% said electric. I could not believe it. These are not the good electric ones either. These were the cheap, like they didn't look great at all. They didn't from a distance, from my house, they looked fine. But the closer you got, the uglier they got. But people loved them. They put them in all their Instagram because they're on Airbnbs. A lot of them were.
Yep.
And to me, the shift to electric and the shift away from true wood burning open fireplaces is the thing that we really have to get ready for.
Yep. I think there's definitely a shift there. We're seeing especially here where I'm at, and I don't know if this is nationwide, but here in the Ohio market that I'm in this week, I'm seeing a huge shift in people that are preparing for the cost of propane. People are, I mean, you're talking a difference of almost 75 cents to $1 per gallon in propane costs from the same time last year. And they're expecting that trend to continue. So people are calling and actually looking at more wood burning options. And what's fascinating is the wood burning, or I should say, what are the name of the people who can't think of it, but the wood burning industry is catching up on this, and the cost of wood is going up here like significantly. You're seeing almost a 30% increase in a cord of wood here than the same time last year. And so there's this jockeying of, well, gas is going up, oil's going up, furnace fuel's going up, now propane's going up, and now wood's going up. So what does that mean for our industry? I think possibly electric, possibly this is a temporary just dip in the weird market that we're having. But I've had at least 3 conversations this week alone where propane, because this is out in the sticks, right? I mean, the people are concerned and they're looking for alternative ways to heat their home. And so I'm certainly seeing a shift there that people have concern about, fuel costs.
What's funny about our industry is when times are good, we're a luxury, right? We're a luxury, and people are like, yeah, I want the big inefficient thing, or I want the better looking
Yeah.
thing. When times are bad, we become more needed in survival mode,
Yep.
and it's a shift in customer. And this dates me, but in 1999, Y2K was coming. I was still I was one man operation still back then, but I remember putting in more wood stoves than ever because there was going to be a glitch in the system and we
Yep.
could lose power. There could be, you remember, I mean, power outages and all the worries. And
Yep.
I sold so many stoves on their fear, not mine. I mean, I didn't know, but just everybody was ordering stoves on the fear factor of we might not have electricity or power because the grid was going to go down. And people would go, hell, they'll go in their backyard and chop stuff and throw it in for wood. I mean, they'll figure it out. They'll
Yeah.
burn
Yeah.
pallets, they'll burn trash,
Yeah.
which you shouldn't. But I'm just saying that I think that's the unique thing about our industry is that we can be there through the good times and the bad times.
Absolutely. I'm actually working on I don't know if I'm supposed to share this or not, but I'm working on a class with the Heat Shield guys, and we're going to do it at CCP. It's me and Philip Stoller and their vice president of sales, Rick, and it's all about finding the up market and the down market. And one of the things that we're talking about, when it comes to are we fixing fireplaces or are we, replacing with some sort of appliance or insert or whatever to bypass damage is it is I don't want to make this political, but depending on the state you're in, depending on the market that you're in, there people feel very strongly one way or the other about EPA, about environment, about all these types of things. And so when we start talking about May 2020 and we start talking about how the EPA stepped in, the initial reaction is, oh, government, more, here we go again, and they're doing this. But when they realize what that means to them, that, do you know what efficiency means, right? Efficiency means that the the wood that you're replacing every 2 to 3 hours, maybe every 8 to 12 hours now. So that's a 3 to 4 times saving in fuel costs. And they're like, wait a
Definitely.
minute, this isn't such a bad thing. And so when we educate, I find the message is changing, right? Like exactly what you said, how nice it is, how it looks. But now people are protecting the envelope. People are talking about efficiency. They are looking for alternatives for heating sources, a lower cost alternatives. So when I can say that you can burn for 8 to 12 hours versus 2 to 3 hours for the same cost, all of a sudden, the message changes. So I think we have to get into what are people interested in right now. Whenever you're in a potential going into a down market, people are worried about protecting their biggest investments. People are looking to cut costs, and so we can certainly come in there.
Yeah, I mean, your point of selling on efficiency at this point would be a key wood burner thing. You've got an old unit; it's very inefficient, creates a ton of creosote. If wood price goes up, wouldn't you want to get more for it? There's some units out there that have 20 to 30 plus hour burn times on
Yeah,
one fuel load. It's amazing what's happening, and even a standard high efficiency fireplace can get 8 hours on a fuel load pretty easily, and versus an open fireplace, which gets you get no heat out of it, but
right.
you're feeding it every hour. It's just to look at it. But I think selling on efficiency and selling on the what if, Valor, I believe is who it is. They always sold on no power, no problem.
Right.
That was their thing of you don't need a fan. There's no fan built in. There, no in an outlet in an outage. You have some kind of backup. So we don't want to play on fear, but we do want to also address it. I mean, it would be remiss not to address fears, and that we may have a solution for them. I can't tell who this is, but it says pre-buy inspections are up for home transfers. Buyers are looking for more negotiation. Yeah, that's changed recently. Even in my neighborhood, for years, there really wasn't any houses for sale. And now we got like 6 or 7 that haven't moved, and that was never the case. Now the value of them went up crazily, but there's more on the market. There's one across the street from me in case anybody wants to move in. You better be cool, but there's one across the street that they've,
I would
don't
love
be.
to know who that is and where that's at, because I'm seeing the opposite. I'm still seeing that there's no contingencies. There's no home inspections, that people are buying these sight unseen, and we get called in after the sale, and the home inspector may have said things were fine, or they didn't even have it checked. I will tell you, my house in Nashville that we sold to our daughter, we put that on the she put that on the market last Saturday because they're looking for a little bit bigger place for the grand dogs and the grandkids, and there was just nothing. So she had to move out like towards Greenbrier. But long story short, she pre-listed on Zillow on like a Friday, and by Saturday she had already had 5 offers, sight unseen, well over asking, and no contingencies. So if there may be certain markets that we're seeing that, but I am still seeing that as it's actually an anti-sell when I'm in the home, because one of the things, if someone's selling their home in the next year or two, typically one of my pitches to them is that, hey, let's get a functioning fireplace in here. Let's maximize the value of the home. Let's make sure that you have a transferable warranty. And some of the rebuttals I've been getting lately is like, man, I'm selling this without any inspections, right? I mean, that's on them, right? And so what I used to be able to have as a value add is going away. So if we're seeing that as a shift, that would be good for our industry for sure.
It would be good. I think, if it slows down, the speed, the inventory is still low is the problem. And houses are so expensive to get into. People are having a hard time getting their foot on the merry-go-round. If you haven't ever
Yeah.
had a house, my gosh, it's so hard to get in them. So we'll see. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm, been around it for a while. Here's Corey Sabo. I think he's got a little smart aleck thing to say. Hey, Corey. What's Y2K? That's not funny. It's not funny.
Was he born?
Huh?
Was he born?
I don't think he was born long. I don't know how old Corey is, but I don't think he's born long. And then he said, I've noticed here recently so more people seem to be planning on needing to make updates and remodel things when buying houses lately. I mean, yeah, a lot of these houses, well, to your point, people are not going to fix it because they can sell it. But when they get in it, they want to fix it. Like, so I think it just shifted from everybody fixing everything up before you sell it to fixing up before you buy it. I just went through our marketing with some of our marketing stats today, and I'm going to share those on this show sometime because I think the details of our report might be interesting to people. But it's like the houses we work on mostly, surprisingly, were pretty new houses. Like one of our number one categories was houses were 2020 houses. Like I don't know how that is, and I got to do some more research. But when I looked at it, like late 90s in early 2000s. But when I'm sorry, our number one house age was 2006, which I was surprised. Now I'm in Nashville and everybody's going to be different, but I was surprised at how many people were moving into homes because our new buyer numbers went up quite a bit. Our number one is still people been in the house 15 years or more. That's still our number one because they've been in a while and they're staying in it. They're not moving. Yep. But the next category was people who just bought the house. It's always been pretty good, but it was better lately.
I mean, it makes sense. People are buying it without contingencies, and they're like, "Hey, I'm willing to pay more. I'm willing to assume I've got to put money into my house." And if the fireplace is one of those things, they've kind of already pre-planned for that, which that's actually a great shift for us, because I'd much rather deal with the person who just bought the home, give them what they want versus the seller who's just trying to.
That's a great point, right? The other guy's trying to get out as cheap as he can. The new guy going to have to live there for a while. So, that's where some of the sales techniques really come in. Financing. I mean, they might be already tapped out on their stuff getting in, but they maybe will get financing from another company that ties in to get them really what they want. Also, they're still selling fast, but seeing a little change, especially in the second home market of the Ozarks area. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Alan, let's talk about the new product that you and I and Jim and Jake have come up with.
Yeah.
For some business owners. It clearly won't be for everybody. It's called Accelerator. I've got basically I'll just bring it up so you kind of can see it, and we're going to talk about what this is and what this means to everybody. But if you don't mind, tell them what this is, Alan.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we've certainly been seeing there's there's a lot of coaching going on. We've even seen some masterminds going on, and one of the things that we are realizing is that, or we saw as a gap in the market, is that no one is really focused on a long-term plan that involves the top leaders in the company. Right. The top managers, your number two. I always joke that now you've got Kent, your number two. The Chuck Hall, he's got his Rick. Like everybody that I know that has gone to the Bodarts and the Lindemans, everybody that has gone to a large scale 10 million plus type company has had a strong number two that has been the yin to the yang. And so the problem is they're different skill sets, right? And which is why they're successful when they're together. And so what we have put together is a 1-year program that is a monthly program for the business owner and the number two. There'll be some meetings just for the owner, some just for the number two, and a lot of course, combined meetings. And basically, we have a 12-month plan with different topics. If you go to that second page, it'll kind of show the different topics that we have planned out, all the stuff that all the small business owners are facing right now, everything from hiring and recruiting to keeping employees to culture to marketing to sales to you name it. There is a topic for it. And if you go to the very bottom, you'll kind of see there that, of course, we got Jim Brewer doing safety. We got Mark doing business. We've got, traction and SOPs, handbooks, all the basics of having a successful business, especially going into a time where we have so much uncertainty, right? I think people are going to have to focus on things that they never had to focus on before. They may have to cut costs in areas that they never had to cut costs in. So, the big picture thing is we have a monthly. It's going to be virtual, if you will, a Zoom meeting type. That's going to be 2 hours every single month with the number one, the number two. It's going to be facilitated by Hope Stevenson, which if you don't know Hope Stevenson, you probably, um, you know, open your eyes a little bit. She's awesome. She runs a lot of the mixed groups. Her father, Dave Pomeroy, is a staple in this industry, and she is absolutely amazing when it comes to facilitation. So she's going to keep these on track. It's going to have a private Facebook group where we are going to all get together. It's going to be me, Mark, Jim Brewer, Jake Loeffler, and then we have 4 nationally known speakers that are you would know them. We're not releasing all of them yet. Some of them are on the brochure, but we've got some pretty big names that are going to come in every quarter and speak to us as a group, talk about their specialty. We are going to share SOPs. We are going to share best practices. We are going to share pretty much what is working, but we're going to be doing it together. This is a thing where it's not going to be for everybody. This is not a good old boys club. This is not a socialization club. This is a club where you're going to come in and you're going to work. There's going to be homework. You're going to be expected to do certain things. You're going to have exercises every month. We're actually going to work on your business and actually have your number two working on the business with you to know whose responsibilities are what. One of the more exciting things that's included in this is at the end of the 12 months, we're all getting together at an all-inclusive resort, and we're going to have some drinks, and we're going to talk business, and we're going to have a national speaker there as well. It'll be next year. That we're still working on some places. We've got a couple places in Mexico. We're looking at a couple places in the U.S., but it's going to be obviously non-competing companies, and we are accepting somewhere between 10 to 15. We're working on that exact number as we speak. This is a new program. We've already got 8 to 9 that have submitted applications. We reached out to our top 10 SureFire customers first, gave them kind of exclusive rights to join. We've had most of them, not all of them, take advantage of this. So there is an application process. So we're not taking everybody, and it's no offense to anybody that doesn't get accepted. We are looking for a very specific group that is working on their business, trying to get to the next level. If you're happy where you're at, and you just want to keep, efficiency and all of that, this is probably not for you. But if you're trying to grow, you want to add trucks, you want to work on your business, this is, I think, really, honestly, without being dramatic, a once in a lifetime thing to have some of the top minds in the industry work on your business and then get the perspective of 10 to 15 other companies that are in the business as well from different market perspectives. Sorry, go ahead.
So for me, I mean, I was a kind of a decent sized operation when I started getting involved with what they call mixed groups, management information exchange groups. And that's where I really got to know Hope Stevenson. And it has been, I remember what we do in those mixed groups is we come to your business, like there's just 2 meetings a year. So you come in, it's a super intensive 2 meetings. And I got tons out of it because when they come to my meeting or they come to my business and they kind of tear me apart, they call the baby ugly and they make it not awesome, but it also helps me understand from an outside perspective how to help my business. But since then, I'm a big fan of buying group time. And you and I have been in several of these groups with big time leaders that share their information with us for a few hours, Zoom or in person. And you come away with it just by being associated with it and in the room and talking. I get a lot from group coaching, group leadership. And sometimes people are like, well, what do you expect when you go in? I don't expect anything. I come in with a high open brain and a high listening skill to listen for the little nuances that people are talking about or the aha moments. I don't come in with a pre-plan, but in this system, what we've developed is topics. So we're going to go best hiring, marketing, safety programs, leadership, organizing a business, meetings, how to do those in your business, team communication, policy, sales per group. We're going to show like what your guys should be selling, what they shouldn't be, what's the industry average. We're going to go over some of the traction stuff with the Gino Wickman things. progressive discipline, which I love, my attendance policies and how we do that, but how everybody does it, and vehicle routing, which is a huge investment and waste of money at the same time. So those are the big topics every month. We're going to have an expert leading some of those, and then also special speakers. But I'm super excited about this program too, because yeah, I'm going to give and show everything I've got, but also just the group coming to realization of what everybody does. Now, if you're a secretive person and you don't want anybody to know how you do anything, this is also not the plan for you.
That's right.
This is an open group of us sharing and trying to help each other. So that's what I really like about it a lot.
Yeah, I think, and full disclosure to everybody, this is our first launch at this. So I can see this, the core of this is going to be set. But at the end of the day, I think I can see this moving in a lot of directions. But the main things that people need to know is that one of the main reasons we have an application process is that we want to make sure that you're working on growing your business. And number two is that we're obviously not taking competing companies. So we've actually already had a situation where we've had two applications from the same market. And so as a group, we will be getting together and making a decision on that, as hard as that is. So once we have our final 10 to 15 companies, we will have a internal review of those 10 to 15 companies amongst those 10 to 15 companies, if that makes sense. Because there's just politics, right? I mean, we're a small industry. If you haven't noticed, sometimes we don't always agree, and sometimes there's differences. I don't love this person. I don't believe what that guy does, and I can't share my stuff with him or her, and I don't want to be a part if they're a part. So we're gonna have there's gonna be a vetting process first on our end, second on the people that join, and then once we've finalized that group, we will begin the monthly meetings, have the exercises, have the Facebook share, and work on the best practices. We'll announce the quarterly speakers officially that we're going to have. All the dates will be pre-planned. And so we'll be able to kind of do this. Everything will be recorded. If you do need to be a SureFire member. If you're a SureFire member, it'll go into your personal account, the recorded call. This thing is, again, it's not for the faint of heart. This is a very select group with top level people. The investment on this thing is $1,297 a month for a year. And so that includes both the owner and the number two, whoever you decide that to be. And we haven't figured out the details of Mark's. This is Mark's job, the attendance policy, because if you're going to commit to this, we really want you to commit to this. We don't want people saying, "Oh, that sounds like a good idea," and then 2 months later, "Oh man, I'm busy. It's busy season. It's October. I'm in Chimney. I don't have time for this." That's not going to be acceptable for this group. This is going to be a high level group we're going to commit our time. We want you to commit your time, and there's no doubt. I mean, if you look at the minimal investment to have a Stoner, a Rush, a Brewer, and then the other 15 companies, Loeffler, working purely on your all's companies, and this is going to be, I think it's going to be huge. So
we a couple other things about it. Ray Palfy, who's our chief financial officer, is also going to help you provide financial analysis and projections for our members. He's on board with everybody that wants it. I've found too that even if you have a person that reviews your financial stuff and does your stuff, it's really not bad to have somebody else review it. I can tell you that, and even us, we have somebody review Ray. He brings in a secondary person to review his stuff to make sure he's doing the best and not missing stuff. And Ray is kind of that guy. He could be that if you already have a financial person, so having somebody else that understands chimneys and the chimney industry, looking at what you're doing and saying, "Hey, this looks good. This doesn't look good." You can take that back to your own people and get some and help your own business. I had a CFO a long time, for years. I thought was doing a great job for me until certain people came in and said, "This doesn't look right. That doesn't look right." And sure enough, there was a lot that wasn't right. He helped me a lot. He also hurt me a lot. One other thing about what the number two person, one of the issues we have as business owners is that we kind of tend to get our own information for ourselves. We kind of get it, and then we try to go back to our company and disseminate it. And some managers and some people, even on SureFire Live and on Chad's program, were like, "Hey, I wish our managers could get together with other managers to see what they're doing. And so in this group, it's not just everybody together. We're going to break the managers off with other ones so that they can work best practices. And then we work together so that it's not just a few people leading the whole thing. We get feedback up and down the chain so that the team works better. And I've never seen that in another group setting that I've been part of.
Yeah, no, the manager part is huge.
Yeah.
When we were at the SureFire Summit back in Florida, if you guys don't know the story of the SureFire Summit, I take full credit for this awesome thing. We get together as a group once a year and just plan the exciting stuff for the following year. And so this year we decided I live in South Florida, and I was like, hey, let's come down towards my house. We'll rent an Airbnb. We'll get on the water. We'll ball out. We'll just have 3 days of just like killing it. So I found this place, this Airbnb, showed it to everybody. I mean, it was so affordable. I mean, it was like $300 a night on the water. I mean, the pictures were amazing. And we walk into this thing, and let's just say their photographer deserves some Pulitzers or whatever. A photographer gets the angles they took was nothing like out. Everything was outdated. It was dirty. The canal that we were on was at an end with all this construction stuff. There was like sludge and just stuff in the water. The outside chairs you were on, like if you haven't seen the picture of Jim Brewer trying to sit in a lawn chair where you can barely see it. Needless to say, that the SureFire,
he was sitting there like this trying to talk, and he was getting beat up. It was absolutely the worst. We call it the SureFire Summit because we were embarrassed to be there. We thought we were saving some money as a group. We didn't. We will never do that again.
Yeah. So, but this is where this has been, almost 6-7 months in the planning stage, and one of the real big things, because there's a lot of places you can go to get coaching and to get group coaching and to get masterminds. There's a lot of things out there, but I think adding the group that we have as leaders that have all taken into the large businesses that work in, like I personally work in probably 50 different chimney companies. So when you have those types of perspectives of people, what they're doing, you share what you're doing, we get your number two to actually get out of convention land, get out of idea land, and oh, that sounds great. And then you get off your 2-hour Zoom and you're right back to your day to day. We have an implementer and the visionary, which if you've been through any of those rocket fuel type books, you'll understand what that means. But I really do think, well, we'll see, right? This is year one. We hope this thing goes at the bottom. If you share that, Mark, we kind of envision this as a 4-year program, but we're going to start with year one to see what we have. But we kind of see this as number one is kind of working on your business and then working up to year 4 to the point where you can step away from your business, have it run without you, have financial freedom, and have a business that you can either sell or walk away from, or just have someone else manage for you. So depending on what you want out of your business, I think this, and again, it's 10 to 15 people. We've already got 8 to 9 that are locked in. So there's not a whole lot of slots left, but we think it's going to be really awesome.
There's a couple questions. One, and correct me, I don't remember what we decided on this, but Kyle says, is it part of SureFire? And it's not part of SureFire. It was a value added service inside SureFire for people who wanted more. So it was during that meeting that he's talking about, he said, or we were like, what can we do more for like our top customers or people who want, the SureFire is part of their thing, but they wanted more access if possible. What could we do? And so this is how Accelerator got born. So if you're on SureFire, you will have, if you're part of this group, you will get all the recordings and access to it, but it's not part of the general membership because it's more of a closed group. So we don't want all the information going out to just everybody or anybody. Nobody would want that. So to ask that. And so Kyle, you also said, is this for a small company like mine with 6 people? It's more like what you want, Kyle. Like if this sounds like it's something you want to grow your company, and I know you a little bit just through this, and it sounds like you're a company that wants to grow, I would say yes. Now, that being said, Alan, was it slightly cheaper if you don't have a number two? Did we have that? If you,
No.
it's just the one, it's just that it's one.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you're on the right track. I mean, that's the whole Kyle, the whole reason. And I see you sent like 3 or 4 things after this, and the whole reason we have an application is because, and one of the challenges is, and we spent hours on this, is going through and looking at how does everyone receive value from it, right? So, like, and not to pick on Mark, but if we had Mark Stoner in the group, and which to be fair, Mark Stoner is going to be in the group,
And so are my managers. I got two
and
managers.
Kent Wesley, if you know Kent, he's there. They're a paying member of this group. So if you want to learn from Ashbusters, they're going to be sharing their stuff in there as well. But the whole thing we had was, if we had an Ashbusters, and then we had, let's just use you for example, Kyle. I don't know a ton about your company, but if we had another company like Kyle that had, let's say, 6 people, like you said, how is that value distribution, right? How do we make sure that not only do you get a ton of value from Ashbusters, but Ashbusters has the opportunity to receive value from you? So you'll see when you go through the application process, it's almost like a SWOT of yourself. Like, what are the things that you believe you can bring to the table? What are the things that you're strong at? We have you rank like these 12 categories. Like, how important are they to you? And so if it was just about revenue, that'd be crazy, because I know companies that are less than $1 million that are innovative and bringing brand new things to the game that I've never thought of, that none of us have ever thought of, that the entire group would benefit from. So it's not just a revenue thing. It's not just how many trucks you are. It is, are you looking to grow your business, work on your business, share your stuff with the other team members, be comfortable receiving critiques and feedback, and this may, like Mark said earlier, is, when someone kind of calls you out, or your baby's not as pretty as you think it is, are you open to hearing that? Because if you've already got it figured out, you don't need us, right?
I'll tell you this, just it's how you can learn from any size company. One of the major shifts that I found, and then I kind of brought to the industry, and you kind of saw it happen. I'm not going to take full credit for it, but outside mount caps, I started really talking about this years ago. But in 2008, I came up with the We Fix Leaky Chimney campaign, and I started, talking about it and showing everybody how we did it. But after the first time I did it at a national convention and showed everybody, me and John Meredith did it, Ron Rust, who was a one truck operation, 60-year-old guy, comes up to me and goes, you missed the number one, the first thing you should do on fixing a leaky chimney. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, outside mount cap. And at the time, that wasn't part of my deal, and I didn't sell very many of them, like a Model C or Model D, but not a full outside mount. He goes, yeah, he used the band around high C caps to kind of look like an umbrella. He said, that's the number one thing you sell. He said, I sell them for $1,500 a piece. And I make, one truck operation makes $600,000 a year. I'm like, what do you, in a one-man operation? I said, you know what? And it took me a few years to finally get to that. I'm like, he was right. That is the cherry on top. But it's to my point, or to your point, you can learn from everybody. Everybody is doing something better than you. I promise. I promise you, Kyle is doing something better than I am. Yep. I promise I'm doing something better than you are. And I don't care what level you are. Now, ideally, when you're a small company and you're in with a bunch of big companies, you learn faster. But I, even going to like national conventions or listen to people talk, I'm not there to be blown away by I'm looking for the one thing for the whole weekend. I'm looking for one thing I can take away and do, not millions of stuff every single meeting. That's not going to happen. But you never know where it's going to come from. And just being associated with companies doing stuff, there's huge aha moments that will change your life. I promise. Several questions are coming in. So let's see here. Okay. So Levi says, innovation is awesome. The innovation is awesome. Next level business training for a growing industry. Thank you, Levi. I hope you're doing well, man. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're doing okay. Kyle says, sounds cheap for what you get. Hey, I like the way you think. He is part of SureFire. He says, I want to grow to your level, Mark. Hey, man, I can tell you this. Everybody has their own thing, what they want to go to. But in my opinion, the larger your company gets, the better your life gets for you and everyone around you. It's not just the owner gets, everybody in your business. When everybody's not so mission critical, it's better for everybody. A girl is out in the office, no problem. We got 5 more of them. A guy, a truck goes down, no problem. We've got a lot of others running. The pressure goes down in so many ways. And for years, I talked about, one-man operations or small operations are like guys on unicycles, right? And they're pedaling. And if anything goes wrong, the whole company goes down. And even if you got 2 trucks or 3, you get a wheel go out and the vehicle's down. You can't go. You get a flat tire, the whole thing just kind of starts to collapse. But what I really focused on forever is, how do I build a semi? How do I build 18 wheels that if one goes out, no problem? If a driver's sick, I swap out a driver. I have a company loading the truck, unloading the truck. I have logistics, I have planning, and it's not related to any one person. So to me, this accelerator helps us all speak the same language and row in the same direction, and we all speak chimney. It's not like you join some random group like you and I have. They don't speak chimney. We have to find the nuggets in there. When everybody speaks chimney, the nuggets are just flying.
100%. I saw Jack Washman said he was definitely applying. Awesome, Jack. We look forward to that. Yeah. And just so for the record, if you do want to, we're not making this fully public, right? I mean, we're not putting this out on, on all the social media. This is a SureFire program that we want to stay with SureFire people that support SureFire, and we want to support you. So this is, so if you are interested in applying and seeing if you get accepted, and Mark, if you'll pop up the email address, send an email to info at surefire.online. Just give basically give your name, your company name, and say that you're interested in applying for the accelerator program. We will send you back a private link that has a link that's a kind of a hidden link that you'll fill out the application. It is a hefty application. Will take you about 10 to 15 minutes to fill it out. So we are taking this seriously, and it's something that we want. We want a good core group. And so if you're interested, send to info at surefire.online. Again, we're going to take somewhere between 1 to 6 more people, depending on how it works out. I saw another question on here that said, what's the definition of a competing company? We are considering that to be service area. So if service area is, if you cross compete, then you do service in the same area, then we would not allow those people into the area. We have some companies that have multiple locations. If they have any location currently in a market with someone else, then they would not be allowed into that as well.
I can say this: the first come is kind of first serve. We consider your thing first. But I can tell you this, though, just to say something slightly different, it would be up to the current member to decide if they wanted to let somebody in. And so Tommy Nelms is on this call. And let's just say we're competitors, but if Tommy wanted to join the group, Tommy's in the group, even though he's right down the road from me. We have that relationship. It would be up to the member to decide, just like regular mixed groups. It's up to the member that's in to decide if the next person could join. And we're not trying to have these very big. They won't be very big. They're going to be very small groups and going to stay small. Even if another group wanted to start, it would not be part of this group unless the group wanted to bring somebody in. So this is run by the group. There's facilitators, but like he said, I'm paying to be in the group myself to bring my managers in the group and learn and teach. And I'm super excited for it, and all my guys are too, because I get to talk to a lot of chimney companies, but they don't. Other people don't. They all listen to me. And so for me to have them be excited and help others get the same benefit I get, I just like that. A couple more questions. Kyle says, I'm young and I don't mind criticizing. I want to go to Ashbuster or Lindemann Company. I promise you, just by saying that out loud and setting those things and then putting all the things together with that, that's how it works. It comes, you set the goal and you make it. Your one truck made $500,000. That's a good number, man. That's
a great number.
I want everyone to have a good life. And like you said, a company, not a job. Yeah. Growth helps you get out of being in survival mode all the time. That's right.
Amen.
It really does. A lot of people know my story, but when I had an accident in 2003, I was one man operation and I fell and got hurt and I couldn't work and I tried to sell the company. But I also realized how vulnerable my business was because I hadn't built it to run without me. Therefore, when I was hurt or sick, there's no work being done, no income coming in. And I'd put my family at a disadvantage. I come from a long line of that. My mom did that. She had a one-person accounting company. My father did that with a one-person insurance business. And my mother got sick. And when she got sick, there was no business to support us. And it caused all kinds of havoc. So a lot of people know my story, but I'm saying the way I changed it was get around people who had what I wanted and just mimic them until in a lot of ways I passed them up and then had to find new people. But I'm always looking for inspiration. And if a mentor of mine says, Mark, you need to do this, I do it. And you and I talked about that earlier today. I mean, with Larry Wingate or a John Meredith or any of my mentors said, Mark, you need to do this. I really didn't question them. I just jumped in and did what they told me to do. And it always panned out for the better. There was always some gold in there I didn't see. The whole reason I do a podcast, so I wrote a book, or I'm doing the show, was because a mentor at some point said, you need to do this. This is the next best move. And so that's kind of why we're excited about this. So Kyle said, so just send an email, and I put it up before to info@surefire.online. Your information. We'll shoot you out it's a fillable PDF online. It's pretty simple, but it is kind of long because we're really trying to get some details to make sure you're a good fit and you really want to do this. Because if you won't do the application, it takes 10 minutes, probably won't do the other homework. And we're not trying to inundate you with a bunch of work. We just need everybody to be as serious as possible and not a social group. And hey man, good to see you. Great to see you. See you later. Plus, you don't get this kind of stuff on Facebook. Like a lot of people think they can get this information through, the chimney world or chimney chat or whatever. It's different when you're sitting with a group and working through problems together and you see how other people think. When I've been around super high level people, I say high level because like high achievers, I learn how they think and work. And sometimes you're surprised how they think and work. You don't get that till you're around them for longer periods of time. A couple more questions. Andy Grantham says, we are transitioning to percentage-based pay in September. Would adding this to our plate be too much this season? I think if all you're saying is you're switching to commission-based pay, no, this wouldn't be too much. In fact, the group can help you through the problems.
Yes,
I would say
exactly right.
Oversell. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Alan?
No, I didn't mean to. I was just agreeing with you. I mean, I know you've done it with Blue Collar Gold. I have probably personally transitioned 15 companies from wage salary to commission pay. And so I know just between the two of us, we know all the pitfalls that the conversations you need to have, the pre-planning you need to have, the people that you could lose, all the pitfalls that could happen to that. And then once you do it, all the problems that you're going to have. So I think having a group like that actually would be a perfect thing to do.
The truth, Andy, that's a great question because almost not all the answers, but so many of the answers you guys have will be inside 15 companies, right? The group will have the answer or experience shares to say, hey, this is what we did to get through that problem. I don't want anybody in this group telling you, hey, Andy, you've got to do this. Nobody's going to do that. What we're going to do is present problems and have experience shares about how we all worked our way through them. And through that shared experience, you will gain knowledge and wisdom about how to go through problems and how to have a wisdom of how to get through the problem and what it looks like on the other side. A lot of times as business owners, it's right in our face. And looking back on it, like, oh, yeah, I did all these things and they work. But when you're right up against something, you need mentorship and you need help to look further than you can see yourself. And I think that's what a group has helped me with in the past, at least. So Kyle says the story of Mark getting hurt made my one truck to four truck. Well, thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. I'm glad that's how it worked for me too. Seeing Jim Brewer build a big company helped me, almost give me the permission to build a company that I could do it. And sometimes that book has done it for you. So thank you for saying that. He says, I love the homework thing. I hate social group thing. I left a bunch of groups because of that. Yeah. So we'll have work to do, and a group that does work on this. And I know everybody's busy, but we're going to work. Jack says, does the basic SureFire Academy have anything in Spanish? I don't think SureFire Academy does not.
Yeah, so it is a topic that's been brought up before, Jack, and what we are looking at, and this is, I would hate to even commit to this year, is that we have found some translating programs that are basically closed captioning, if you will, that will take our videos and basically create a closed captioning file for that will overlay. It'll still be in English, but it'll be closed caption in Spanish. We have done a couple tests on that, and there's some typos, there is some dialect issues, and so we don't have that ironed out yet, but you're not the first person to ask for that, and we think that would be a really cool value add that is on the list. It's just honestly, it's not at the top of the list right now, so hopefully we can have that for you soon.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear your situation with that. I do know I have a couple Spanish speaking guys that struggle with that, and they had a hard time with SureFire. We kind of had to, move different things around. I'd like to know the demand for it, because it is a pretty good time investment for us to get that done. But if there's a demand for it, if people need it, I mean, that's what we're in business for, is to fill those needs. Let me see if there's any other comments. Got a couple more comments coming in. What if the owner signs up, but only his two in command makes the meetings and they miss one? So one of the companies that's already signed up, the owner is doing something else, and his main two people are going to be in the group. And we've allowed that. So again, we don't have an attendance policy yet, I think. And again, if number two can't show up, that's not the end of the world, because having the company represented is the main thing at some point. And we all have to take attendance seriously. And some of these bylaws may be something that the group adopts. This isn't my group. This isn't Alan's group. If you join it, this is your group too. And we want to have a group that works for everyone. So we'll have group think, group. What do we want to do? How's this affecting everybody? So,
this is one of the main reasons that we hired Hope Stevenson,
right.
Because this is what she does. She's a master facilitator. Before this thing officially launches, we are all once we have the group, we are all getting together as an initial meeting virtually. That's not one of the official 12. And we're going to have just a get to know you. We're going to make sure everybody gets added to the Facebook group. We're going to introduce ourselves. We're going to talk about what we want out of this. We're going to talk about what you really want, what you don't want. We're going to review the applications, because everybody has different things that they would like to focus on. And then Hope is going to make it about the bylaws and about what you want. Some people may have different rules for their number two. Some people may have different transparency things. I don't want to share this, or I don't want them. So we got to kind of talk through all this, and I can't say it enough that this is we're launching this with the framework, right? The framework is there. We know the big picture. We know what we want this to be. We know the value that it can bring. But at the end of the day, we hope and expect this takes on a life of its own. That each participant in this helps make it what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm as excited for 12 months from when this is over, to after just think about when you share this much intimacy about your company and you get help, and hopefully 12 months from now, we're all in a much better place due to the group. And then we all get together live and we drink some tequila and, and just celebrate, and then obviously learn as well. So I'm looking forward to that as much as anything. And that's included
that's why I rolled this. We're about out of time. That's why I rolled this back up to the top, was the summit. I'm looking forward to the groups getting together on a social level, after we've worked pretty hard, celebrate, talk, plan, but in person too. I love all inclusives. It's good. It's going to be fun. That's part. It's not. You don't have to pay for that separate. Your travel getting there, but the summit, the thing is paid for as part of it. So, as much as anything, I'm looking forward. I love getaways with chimney guys and having fun and probably not talking business. We'll probably have to talk a little bit so the tax write-off works, but
right.
we'll have a good time.
I'll teach you how to put beer in a coffee cup when you're in a hotel. Little tricks like that you learn at all inclusive.
Yeah. So guys, again, I've put it up here, info@SureFire.online. We're going to start this group. I think it's August, isn't it? We're going to finalize everything in July. This launches in August with a kind of informational. We're going to talk to the group about how we want to start and kind of introduce everybody. And there's a system to it, but we're closing in on closing this group out. We just wanted to throw it out. We sent it out to our top people, and we still got a few more slots. So we just want to invite people to join.
And Andy, just on your email to Andy asked if we could get this brochure when we apply. When you send the email to info@surefire.online, just say, hey, can you respond with the application link and the brochure, and we'll make that happen.
Yeah. Yep. Do we want to just read what's on that brochure real quick in case people can't? I mean, just that what they get part, like I can do it real quick.
Sure.
Other than big topics, the benefits of membership is invite only, one nationally known virtual speaker per quarter, association with other top operators, 1 2-hour call per month, access to a private Facebook, 10 to 15 companies, access to digital library of forms, documents, and SOPs. We're going to share all of that kind of stuff with you that we all have. One admission to the annual 2-day offsite summit, which is the $2,000 value to the all-inclusive. No admittance of competing business in your area. $12.97 per month, guarantees 2 seats, officers and managers. So that's it. We love it. We're excited. We want people to join us that are excited to join. Not just there for anything social. We will be social because we'll get to know each other, but we're going to build some businesses, man.
It's going to be cool. Looking forward to it, man.
All right, Alan, I will close out tonight. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you.
All right. See y'all next time.
All right. See you, buddy. All right, guys, that's what's new with us. We've been working on it for a while. My hat's gotten crooked. I don't really wear the hat crooked, but we're excited about it. We've been working on it for a while, and that's why we got Hope Stevenson to join us, because she's an expert at this. If you know her, she runs a bigger business than all of us, and so we all learn from her every time she talks. So thanks for all your comments. Thanks for your interest. And SureFire Live is probably going to take a break through the month of July. I'm going on a trip I've been really wanting for as long as I've been an adult. I'm getting to ride a motorcycle over in Europe for several weeks through July, and then going scuba diving in Hawaii. So I've got a month full of, some of this was delayed because of COVID, and it all of a sudden came together. But a quick story, we're flying into Munich, Germany on Saturday. We're riding down through Germany, Austria, through Italy, and finishing up in Switzerland, back to Germany, 15 days in the Alps and through the Italian Dolomite Mountains. It's going to be epic. I'm super excited about it. It's been delayed for almost 3 years now. It's finally happening. So won't be able to do SureFire Live. There may be some guys that can do it for me, Alan or Jake. But if not, please respond if you want to be part of Accelerator. That's going to happen while I'm gone. And I pray for a safe ride and a good trip. So, guys, thanks for your time. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.